One of Chud the Builder's racist friends is outside the Karmelo Anthony trial starting a race riot. This usual suspect, Jake Lang, is the one who went to Chud the Builder's bond hearing, caused the disturbance, and got arrested for contempt of court. Now he's outside the Karmelo Anthony trial trying to antagonize black folks into a reaction.
I don't give a whatever you talking about, and you know it. You chimping out, man.
That is not the time nor the place to do that. And notice how the sheriff stepped between Jake Lane and the black guy, like pushing the black guy off, and his back is protecting Jake Lane. I mean, oh my God, there was just something else. Oh my goodness. But that's not the time and the place for that. Tensions is already running high as it is.
Low impulse control. This is the reason why Austin Metcalf is dead. Because this is a response that is told. This is the response they teach their young people to have. This is the
Now he is like totally out of line, and he is antagonizing. You see how they do it. It's just like a twist of words. And this is definitely not the place for this right here.
the black mothers.
Before we get this video started, if you want to learn how I made 140
I'm gonna let this play. I was getting ready to scoot up, but if y'all want to like go check them out, I did, but it is just out. It is out of my price range that I'm willing to pay, but it's interesting.
$42,000 from YouTube this month. Join my community by clicking the link in the description. That's where I give you guys all the tools to grow on YouTube and make money, as well as offer you guys the opportunity to make videos with me, to do joint videos, joint reactions that get posted on both our channels. I also promote.
I mean, if I had the funds, I wouldn't mind checking it out just to, see, because my channel is fairly new, and so I'm just now really getting started and getting into it to find out how to do things. I really don't know how to do things. I can't even fix my mic. So, but if you're getting started or if you want to expand your territory, then definitely check them out. And that's how much he made. I think it was in 1 month just from covering one of the Chud's videos.
Ultra videos on my social media pages. Don't you want to work with me? Like, click the link in my description to join my community. Let's get started. Let's grind. Let's make money together.
In this community does not teach its people to respect personal boundaries. It does not teach people to talk with respect. And that's why Austin Metcalf said, because of your failure as black parents. Failures as black parents. Failures as black parents. Teaching the youth to kill.
Why don't they move this guy out? Why are they letting him stand there and antagonize the crowd like that? Now they're there for the case of what's going on, but he's there with that Chud mess.
Me and you, mutual combat. What's up? Hey, can we get mutual combat?
Now you got me from the
Doing all that talking and fake crazy act, but make sure to ignore that request for mutual combat. Make sure to act like he didn't hear that brother asking for mutual combat. Because in Texas, if y'all both agree to fight, y'all can fight. And there's nothing the police can do about it. But Jake Lang ain't want that smoke. They just act crazy. They act like demons. Man, they fake demons, bro. They not really crazy. They're not really unhinged. They know their limits. Jake Lang talking about low impulse.
But they're definitely evil.
Impulse, to be honest, is complete. Like, they lack self-awareness completely. Jake Lang probably has the lengthiest rap sheet of anybody outside that courthouse. But he's talking about low impulse control. Dog, you are a felon. You did multiple years in prison. You just got arrested 2 times within a span of 30 days. You are literally a career criminal. You can't talk about low impulse control. You have none. These alt-right white supremacist X pages, they don't show Jake Lang antagonizing black folks. They don't show Jake Lang race baiting black folks. but they only showed the aftermath of Jake Lang successfully race baiting black people. So Jake Lang shows up, antagonized, says all type of racial slurs, all type of words. He finally was able to race bait Unc into just going off and losing his mind. And Unc said some things that, again, I don't support, I don't stand behind. But to take him out of context of being antagonized and race baited and post this online trying to destroy the man and destroy his life for saying this after Jake Lang started this, to me, it's just disingenuous, bruh.
That was his whole point. That was his whole point. That's what he wanted to do.
Only good is a dead. Only good is a dead. Only good is a dead. Only good is a dead.
Obviously, I disavowed that rhetoric. Somebody being hateful and racist towards you should not make you hateful and racist towards an entire race of people. Clearly, we are all on the same page. But you guys have to admit, even if we all can disavow this and say, Unc was wrong for this, it's not okay, it's not cool to say something like that, right? Because all white folks ain't Jake Lang, and Jake Lang don't speak for all white people. But there's something very wrong with clipping somebody out of context and then using this as a representative for all black people. So look, this person says, let them go mainstream with their racism. It's time America see these degenerates for what they are, who they are, and what they stand for. Can we now stop pretending that the vast majority of black people aren't harboring hate for whites, Asians, and Latinos? Open your eyes, America. Why are the
But what?
people who are online complaining about snowflake culture, the biggest snowflakes, they want to be victims so bad? But here's what they're not understanding. It doesn't matter what year we're in. It doesn't matter how long you try. Mainstream society is not going to see racist people as victims. Sorry, it's never going to happen. They're not going to see an alt-right, far-right white extremist group and say, yeah, they're victims. No, right? It would never happen. You're wasting your time. But this Karmelo Anthony trial is divided among racial lines, bruh. Like, honestly, it's divided, bruh. Yo, when you go outside, you literally have black people over here, white folks over here, and it's like, and they are clashing, bruh.
Forget he have basically an all-white jury. There's not one black person on it, not one black woman, not one black man. They have, I believe, 5 or 7 white men, and then the other ones are like different nationalities, like Asia, and a little sprinkle of that, but no black people, not one.
And their strategies are a lot different too. And maybe somebody who's much smarter than me can break down in the comment section like the dynamics of how the black protesters are choosing to protest and how the white protesters are choosing to protest. But the black protesters are staying in groups, right? They're all kind of like concentrated in one place in one location and they're moving together. While the anti-Karmelo Anthony protesters, like, do have one or two like follow like the concentrated black group to protest or to like antagonize them, while you have the other ones that are standing on each corner as cars drive by to spread their propaganda. Somebody smarter than me could probably break down the social, the like inner working, like I don't know, like the dynamics to why that happened or how that may be like a microcosm of America. Y'all let me know, right? Come with your best think piece on why the black protesters are moving in concentrated groups while the white protesters are.
Well, then that's simple. It's like when animals, when they move, they move together. Like if one go off to fight, then they're all going to fight. I mean, you just can't get one off by himself. So it's better if you're in a group with that group protection than one here, one there, one over there, one over there. So you move, you move in flocks like that. And that's just what I think. And the white people, I think the way they're doing it is intimidation. It's like an intimidation tactic, and that's how they do to spirit lines. You hear a lie, 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 lie. You hear it enough, you're going to start to believe it. You see that there's many here and many here and many there, as opposed to this one group that's sticking together, that's cohesive. I think, and like how they move, they don't need to be off by themselves. They might get snatched up or something, or assaulted if you're by yourself.
Kind of following the black protesters, and then like a large majority of them are separated on individual blocks and corners to spread their propaganda as other groups is coming through. Right now, again, I particularly don't think this like pro Karmelo or anti Karmelo is divided across race lines. To be honest, I know black people who think Karmelo Anthony is guilty. I know white folks who think he innocent. Right, but the protest outside the courthouse is divided across racial lines, right? For some reason, or at least that's what people is trying to portray.
He was not an aggressor. Karmelo was not an aggressor. He was minding his business when the boys came up to him.
We the crowd. We the creed. Karmelo Anthony will walk free. We the crowd.
Silence Karmelo and his family.
Anthony will walk free. We the crowd. We the creed. Karmelo Anthony will walk free. We the crowd. We the creed. Karmelo Anthony will walk free. We the crowd. We the creed. Karmelo Anthony will walk free.
This lady here in the pink, like she's ready to go off on somebody. That leave this sister alone. She's serious about and she's serious about her stand. And they are peaceful. They're not going off bothering anyone.
We the cloud. We the creed. Karmelo Anthony will walk free. We the cloud. We the creed. Karmelo Anthony will walk free.
This Karmelo Anthony trial happening days after the Cyrus Carmack Belton verdict is such a bad idea, man. Yo, race relations right now is at an all-time high. There's so much tension. Black folks just watch a 60-year-old Asian man who should have known better follow a 14-year-old black kid outside of his store who essentially didn't steal anything from his store. Follow him outside of his store, walk him, chase him down, and then shot him in the back, went to trial and got found not guilty on a jury of no black people. Right? So when black folks see that, they clearly see, okay, there's a two.
Same in this case. There's no black people on this jury.
Tier justice system here. All right. Rules that apply to thee do not apply to we. All right. It's the rules that apply to some, like, again, other minority groups and some races do not apply to us. Dominant society has different rules. Other minority groups have different rules. We don't have that luxury. You could follow somebody down. You could stalk them. You could hunt them down, shoot them in the back and say you fear for your life because you thought they had a gun. So when they see this Karmelo Anthony trial, it's like, hold on, bro, this trial ain't much different than, right, like the Cyrus Carmack Belton. If that Asian man can get off for shooting that 14-year-old in the back after stalking him, then Karmelo Anthony should get off, right? That's the mentality right now of a large percent of Black America. They're fed up. Now, I'll be real with y'all. My mind isn't made up in this Karmelo Anthony trial. I'm literally watching this trial as if I'm a juror trying to figure out what took place, trying to figure out if it's self-defense. Because before the trial started, the things that came out had me thinking, man, Karmelo, you did kind of bad, homie. You wilding out, son. Right? You did bad. But then day one of trial, after the opening statements, which we're about to review from the prosecutors and the defense, Karmelo Anthony's self-defense case is looking a tad bit stronger. So the prosecutors start off their opening statement overselling even the professionals and the analysts who were saying Karmelo Anthony is cooked last week. Is saying, bro, after the opening statements, bro, the prosecutors, like, it sounds like they are over-promising something they can't deliver on. And once more details come out about why Karmelo Anthony was under the tent, why he was there, who was he talking to, things of that order, the series of events.
Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to upload that video first before this one or after this one, but in that video, I made a video about that, and it said that he went under the tent to get out of the rain because it was raining cats and dogs, and he knew some people or a person who was there up under the tent. So it was the twins who didn't want him up from under the tent. And so what they saw, they had like cameras, and you know the video was grainy, but they was able to make out, and it assumed that Austin pushed Karmelo. And then that's when Karmelo responded and retaliated back. And then after that, all the students started scattering all over the place. So that is what I gathered so far from the news. The opening statement, the second day or third day, second day. But anyway, in my last video, that's what they were talking about.
It's looking more like self-defense, to be honest. Even the type of knife he had doesn't appear to be something you would unusually not have in your bag.
Alternates, here's a portion of the prosecution's opening statement. They told this jury, we are all here because Karmelo Anthony decided to take a knife to a high school track meet and provoke another young man who he didn't know into touching him, holding an already open knife in his hand and plunging it into his heart.
Right, that's what they said. That's what I covered in my in the video that I'm going to upload, or it's already uploaded. I'm not quite sure. That the knife. He was just went there looking for trouble, point blank, period, and he handed out for Austin. So and that's what they're trying. That's the narrative that the prosecution is trying to paint.
They went on to say that this man decided to commit an unjustified, provoked murder, and that this case has nothing to do with race. This is not self-defense. Let's talk about the prosecution's beginning of their case in front of this jury. With us, we have our guest, former prosecutor Nicole DeBoard, criminal defense attorney Joanna Nieves, and criminal defense attorney Mario Gallucci. It's so good to have you all on. Mario, let me get your thoughts on this first. I've been hearing you talk about it all day with Ted, but when you hear this fact that the prosecution says they have, that the knife was open inside of the bag, how compelling is that to this case?
So, I mean, the prosecution's trying to make it seem like he went there with an open knife in his bag to cause a problem. I don't see it that way. It's a pocket knife. We're not talking about a machete. We're not talking about a dagger. We're not talking about a switchblade. We're talking about, an ordinary pocket knife that's used on a daily basis to do whatever utility you need to be done. So just by, and I believe you're going to hear this from the defense, just by the virtue of there being an open pocket knife in a bag doesn't mean that he went there with the intent to harm someone. And I think that's what's going to come out on the defense side once we get this trial up and running.
And Joanna, what do you think about the theory that the prosecution has that Karmelo Anthony's position all along was to get someone to do something so that he could kill them? Do you think that's effective? And is Karmelo Anthony going to have to take the stand to combat that?
Hi, Julia. I definitely think there's a damage that happens when you kind of over-exaggerate and emphasize things that aren't necessarily going to be consistent with what the defense is going to put forward. Karmelo Anthony was a good student. He worked. He came from a good family. He's got a support system. He participated in athletics. And you want the jury to believe that he really came to school with the intention of, or a track meet with the intention of murdering somebody. I think that's a far stretch of the imagination.
I don't think even Jake Lang, if you hooked him up to a lie detector test and forced him to tell the truth, I don't even think he would tell you that Karmelo Anthony woke up that day to go ahead and kill somebody. Like Karmelo Anthony didn't wake up that day and say, yeah, I'm gonna put this knife in my bag. So
I pressured myself. I don't believe that was his intention.
I could use it on somebody at the track meet. That's a far stretch. Now, unfortunately, in Texas, though, you don't have to prove premeditated murder. You only have to prove intent within the moment, right? And that's the difference between, let's say, Texas and other states. Other states, you got to prove this was planned. In Texas, you got to prove that when he pulled out that knife on Austin Metcalf, his intent was to murder Austin Metcalf, which I think even that is a hard stretch to prove, to be honest. Now, like during this trial, or, like within like the opening statements, they was even able to prove, and they actually confessed to this in their opening statement, that Karmelo Anthony went under the tent, A, because it was raining heavy, and then 2, he had a friend under the tent. So he already had a friend he knew in the tent, so he went under the tent and was talking to his friend. Austin Metcalf.
And then the other team, Carmelo's, their team did not have a tent. I believe they were the only team on at that time that didn't have any covering. So it would make sense that he would want to go somewhere to get out the rain. Especially he knew someone that was already underneath the tent.
Came into the tent wanting to be the dictator, right? Like the grand leader of the tent, and decided he wanted to kick Karmelo Anthony out, which, like most people, you come under a tent, somebody is talking to their homie, the homie belongs under the tent, y'all having a conversation, you don't come under the tent, hey, bro, you gotta leave the tent now. Like, what are you, like right? Well, like the all-knowing
the tent Gestapo.
Dictator of the tent and who belongs under the tent. Like, it's just a stupid kid argument that shouldn't have resulted in somebody dying. But the series of events doesn't make Karmelo Anthony look like a troublemaker. He comes under the tent because his homie is there, it's raining. You come under the tent, you see Karmelo Anthony talking to somebody, which is his homie, who you know who belongs under the tent. Right? Karmelo Anthony is in the tent talking to him. Even out of sheer respect for the person you do know that's under the tent talking to Karmelo Anthony, wouldn't you say, you know what, oh, if that's his friend, all right, cool. All right, I'm gonna just leave him alone. But coming under the tent, like trying to bully this kid, trying to attack this kid, right? Putting hands on this kid, trying to forcibly remove this kid, right? Instead of going and calling an administrator to come and handle the situation, is why we're in a situation right now. We're not in a situation because Karmelo Anthony woke up today trying to kill somebody.
Austin Metcalf, the stabbing victim, and team were under their school tent at that track meet. That Karmelo Anthony went under Metcalf's team tent during bad weather. Metcalf asked Anthony to leave the tent, prompting a fight where Anthony stabbed Metcalf. Mario, I'm going to focus on one part of that actually has come up a lot online by our viewers. Early on, there was a question.
This look like what did I say? The intake picture that you take when you booked in jail look like one of that, and then this here look like typical high school football kid, a white kid. So just look at the different optics
of why Karmelo would have been under the tent. And I know I mentioned on air even that it could have been because it was raining, and we found out today that both sides say it was raining really bad, and the school that Karmelo Anthony went to was not one that had a tent. Is that important? Is the reason that he was under that tent important when we had this issue of the prosecution saying he went there to provoke a murder?
Look, Julia, I can't agree with you more. I mean, it's raining out. There's a tent. You seek shelter. I don't think that the fact that his school did not have a tent has anything to do with it. There was a tent. It was raining. He went there. And we just found out during the opening statements that he actually had a friend in the tent that he met and spoke to. So it's not like, there's no tent and he went there with the forethought to start a fight, provoke a fight, and stab somebody.
If this was any other state outside of Texas, he would probably not be on trial for first-degree murder right now, because you would have to prove premeditation. You would have to prove he came to the track meet looking to murder Austin Metcalf, when obviously that's not the case. They didn't know each other. He went under the tent because it was raining, not to cause trouble. He went under the tent because his homie was there. Austin Metcalf came and an altercation took place. Now, him stabbing Austin Metcalf, I still can't get on board with. But do I think that this is just cold-blooded? This kid went to kill, like common sense will tell you that's not true at all. Now, we finally got an understanding of what the defense of Karmelo Anthony would be in their opening statement. And here's what they had to say.
But we have Cody Thomas. He's there right now and will be giving us notes throughout the day. This is defense attorney Mike Howard saying self-defense is useless if you wait until it is too late to use it. In that moment, when Austin makes the first physical contact, he reacts in a split. He, meaning Karmelo Anthony, reacts
story first came out, from what I heard and understand, both twins were having a confrontation with Karmelo. So perhaps he was in fear of getting jumped by both of them, because his brother was there as well, I believe.
Acts in a split second of fear and chaos. Well, why didn't he just walk away? There's an answer. After Karmelo defended himself, he ran. He didn't stab twice. He dropped the knife right by the tent on the bleachers. Instead of running to the exit, he goes onto the track and walks right up to a coach and stayed with this coach until that officer arrived. Let's bring back in our panel, see what they think about the defense side of things. Still with us, trial attorney Mario Gallucci, former prosecutor Nicole DeBoard, and criminal defense attorney Joanna Nieves. Nicole, I'm going to start with you on this one, because now we're getting more details, at least from the defense perspective, about what Karmelo Anthony did immediately after the stabbing. How important is that?
I think it's very important, and I think that the prosecution is going to harp on the idea that, well, if you're fleeing, then that we can use that as evidence that you have a consciousness of guilt. What the defense is going to say is exactly what you heard in the opening arguments. He wasn't fleeing at all. He was running to safety. He was running to the safety of an adult. And
Day one definitely went to Karmelo Anthony and his team. They did a brilliant job. Now, it gets even better for Karmelo Anthony. You know the narrative online. Man, Karmelo Anthony wasn't even supposed to be at the track meet. He wasn't even supposed to be at the tent. That narrative got actually the on a reverse card. Karmelo Anthony team actually introduced something that I don't think anybody knew or expected. Karmelo Anthony and his attorney, they did an Uno reverse on this narrative. Now, the same people who said Karmelo Anthony is guilty because he wasn't supposed to be at the track meet and he wasn't supposed to be under somebody else's tent, I wonder if they will keep that same energy now. So Karmelo Anthony's attorney says, Karmelo Anthony was actually scheduled for long jump, right? He was actually scheduled to compete at the track meet. Now, let's go. Now, Austin Metcalf tells Karmelo, you can't be here, you need to leave. Now, Austin Metcalf makes the first physical contact in spite of the warning, touch me and find out. In that split second, Karmelo has a decision to make, how and when to act. So he reacts in a split second of fear and chaos. He immediately says, I was defending myself. Now, here's the thing. We finally got the official measurements. Karmelo Anthony was 5'6", 130 pounds. Austin Metcalf was 6'2", 215. We find out in court that not only did Karmelo Anthony belong there and was supposed to be there and was scheduled to perform, but Austin Metcalf and his brother apparently left the last track meet early to go fishing. The coach got mad at them and they were not supposed to be at that track meet. I guess they still showed up to show the coach they're still committed to the team, but they were not even supposed to be at that track meet because they left the last one to go fishing, and the coach told them, right, not to come to this track meet. All right. Now, the exact words were, I did not need him here, or I did not need him there. That was the coach's exact word. I did not need him here. So if that's the case, if Austin Metcalf was not supposed to be there, Karmelo Anthony was supposed to be there, Karmelo Anthony was talking to a friend under the tent, how can Austin Metcalf come and tell Karmelo Anthony he needs to go when he was not even supposed to be there in the first place? Now, does that matter in the grand scheme of things in terms of murder?
That's interesting. I haven't heard that.
Murder? I mean, those are details that help, right? But the only details here that really matter is, in the moment, did Austin Metcalf do enough for Karmelo Anthony to justify deadly force? That's what they're going to be discussing. But all the character assassination, that needs to stop today, bruh. All right, because to me, all the character assassination kind of got debunked in court. But we'll be covering this every day. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? How do you guys think it's going currently? Do y'all believe that Karmelo Anthony will be found not guilty or guilty? Let me know, okay? If you're still watching.
Yeah, see, that's good. Now, shout out to Poetic Flacco for that reporting there. And so, yeah, it's an interesting story, and I believe I'm going to follow it as well. Really want to know how the income the outcome of this story, especially with the jury selection that the current jury selection that they have in place now. I don't know if he will get a fair trial, based on statistics with this all-white jury judging his guilt, a black team guilt or innocent, or can they be fair? Hear the evidence and give a fair ruling. So I can't wait to learn the outcome of this here trial. And so with that, y'all let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, y'all, be blessed.